You know, I got to thinking that part of the reason I feel compelled to tell stories is because I shouldn't even be here. Uh, uh, there are so many times that I could have been killed, and I should have been killed, and I shouldn't be here with you at all, and I shouldn't have gotten to do so many of these exotic things. It makes me feel like I've been allowed. I've been allowed to do this, and one time in particular that comes to mind just didn't make any sense at all why I survived almost completely unscathed. It was the week before my 21st birthday, and I was riding in the back of a pickup truck, and I was sitting on the back right fender well going down Hillcroft in Houston at about 40 or 50 miles an hour uh, toward the Southwest Freeway intersection. And a guy from our company at Fairfield Industries was driving. He was from Alaska, and he was driving too fast. And believe it or not, I'm sitting in the back of this pickup truck talking to a friend of mine, telling him a story. He's sitting on the other fender well, and I'm using my hands. I've got my hands up. I'm talking to him about something exciting and telling him this elaborate story. When I look up, and I look over the cab of the truck. I see the men in the cab, three men inside the cab of the pickup truck talking, and the driver has turned his head talking to them. And I look above the cab, and I see that we are rapidly approaching the Southwest Freeway going on Hillcroft right around 5 o'clock traffic time, and the light is changing. I take all this in just momentarily as I look up, and then I look back to my friend to continue telling him my story. I've got my hands up, and then all of a sudden it dawns on me that we're not stopping at that light, which has already turned yellow. And I knew we weren't going to make it. I knew we were going to run that red light. And later, my friend who I was telling the story to, he says, I don't know. I didn't have any idea what was about to happen, but just the look of horror on your face made me hold on to the side of the truck tighter. And he said, my hands went down to grab the side rail of the truck. And right after that, I was gone. Now, what had happened was we ran that red light, and we broadsided a Grand Prix that was already entered the intersection. We broadsided him, and at the very same time, a Toyota truck hit us on the front left of our pickup truck, our Chevy pickup truck, and it was the perfect physics for that back right fender well to just launch me right over the cab, right over the Toyota and the Grand Prix, and launch me some almost 50 yards up under the freeway overpass. I flew through the air. Later, the witnesses said that I came out of that pickup truck like a cannonball, and my body straightened out, and I flew like Superman with my arms straight out and flew very aerodynamically over all of that. And I don't remember hardly any of it. I have the briefest memory of being in flight. And the only other thing that I remember was as I was landing, which I barely remember, but I remember a great whoosh that went by the side of my ear. And so I went from telling a story to all of a sudden I was up and walking away from the accident, and I didn't know what had happened. I had no idea what had just happened. It happened so quickly. And I'm walking away, and so the accident is back behind me. I don't see anything. And it's just peaceful and quiet. I remember that. It was just, at one moment I'm talking, the next moment I'm walking peacefully in silence up underneath this overpass at Hillcroft and Southwest Freeway. And as I'm enjoying this tranquil little shock stroll. A couple comes running up to me, and they're so distraught, and the woman's crying her eyes out. Oh my God, are you okay? And she's checking me, and the man he's white as a sheet, and he's saying, oh my God, I thought for sure we had killed you. And they were in a black Suburban that was also coming through that intersection, a high rate of speed. And they said they saw me fly out of the back of that pickup truck and launch. And they almost hit me in midair. They had to swerve really fast. And as I went down close to the pavement, that big tire on that Suburban went right past my left ear. And that was the big whoosh that I felt. And both those guys in the car, they thought for sure they had run over my head and killed me. They thought for sure I was dead. They thought it was a miracle that I was actually up walking. And when they came up and checked me out, they couldn't believe that all I had on me was a jammed finger and a few little scrapes on my hips and a little bit on my hands, but it was nothing. And they said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm okay. Are you okay?" And I didn't know what had happened. And they physically turned me around and showed me the accident. And we had sheared off the light pole in the middle of the intersection. It was laying on the ground. There was smoke and glass and people bleeding everywhere. Every single person in that accident was injured pretty badly, and all of them were hospitalized except me. I was checked and released. They taped up a couple of scrapes on my hands, and it's a miracle how I didn't hit anyone, I didn't hit anything, and how I came out of that truck and flew so aerodynamically that great distance. And by the time I had traveled all that way, all the power of the accident that was in me in that flight was spent, on that long flight. And by the time I hit the ground, I hit softly, and I just sort of instinctively came to my feet and started walking. And the policeman said he'd never seen anything like it. And as I entered the age of 21 and my birthday, and I looked back over this accident for the next week and really for the rest of my life, I can't for the life of me understand how I escaped all that problem when I was really the one with the most potential to get injured, badly maimed, or killed. And I have to believe that God was looking after me, and that's my only explanation. I had angels that were caring for me and got me through, helped me thread the needle all the way through. And so it gives me reason to believe, one of many reasons to believe, that I have a purpose and God has a plan for me, and that all the things that I've gotten to do from the age of 21 to the age of now 58 are just a tremendous gift, really all the days of our lives. But there are a number of stories I'm going to tell you about near death, but that one really left an impression. And so God bless you guys. Be careful out there.